Well, the natural angle is to play down for the black.
Yeah,
didn't do anything flash there. One more good positional shot on the red and he could be in another strong position in the frame. He's got to land on a red here. Slightly awkward cueing. Well, he's got there. I don't think he played quite like that, but into the reds.
Yeah, he played to get a nice angle on the blue. It's always a bit annoying for players when the blue's not on its spot. So still needs proper work here to get back on the red.
Once again, this looks an excellent area that he's played into. That's a terrific shot. Choice of 2 or 3 reds to go at.
So that missed black with the rest from Gary Wilson, looking like a serious error from him. He's done very little yet in this match, and his opponent clearly growing with confidence every ball he pots.
Well, he probably knew he had a game before it started.
38.
Because most players have been aware of Stan Moody and the fact that he's now a professional, what he might be in the future.
39.
But he knows he's playing a youngster who's in form as well, it turns out. Gary Wilson, he didn't necessarily want this thrown at him, but that's where he is. That's the nature of it. And this is very impressive. I'm enjoying what I'm seeing so far. It's a long way to go yet, of course. He's not even won the frame.
46.
Been very good in the frame and a half we've seen.
Well, probably the most famous song ever written in Belfast was Teenage Kicks, wasn't it? The undertones in this 17-year-old. Absolutely loving life here this afternoon.
Oh, don't speak about kicks, Dave. I thought that's one thing we don't want anything of.
54.
Well, terrific stuff this from Stan Moody. He needs the blue, and barring snookers, he's 2-0 up, and he'll have done it in style.
$60. $61.
So the break has come to an end, but 3 snookers required. Gary Wilson's only potted 1 ball. He's going to come back here, but it's looking very much like 2-0.
One. Seven. Gary Wilson, 7.
So it's unlikely that Wilson will get these snookers, but of course there is another little factor. He just wants to take the sting out of the match because he's not been in it yet, and Moody's done all the playing. So, you know, if he could eke out a few snookers in the attempt to win the frame, he might also just slow down the tempo a bit. It's not something that's new. It's something players always do, and they're entitled to do that. And he's ultimately trying to get the snookers. But there's definitely another side to what he's doing.
Can happen though, can't it? It did last night. Anthony McGill looked down and out against Robbie McGuigan. He needed 3 to tie. He got them all and he won the match.
Well, let me tell you, most people who need 3 snookers to tie on the yellow concede straight away. They don't even try and get them 39 beyond on the yellow. It's not really a situation where you don't carry on that often. Never mind win.
Meanwhile, he's potted the red, but he needs a big colour in, otherwise there's no way back at all. So he's trying the cross double. And surely that is it. Indeed, he concedes. It's been a good start from Stan Moody. Breaks of 63 and 61. The youngster is halfway towards a place in the last 16 of the Northern Ireland Open. Did 1 ball in live play, and then he missed that black. It was the red at the start of the last frame, missed the black with the rest, and Moody made a very assured 61. So a few things for Gary Wilson to think about here as he awaits his opponent returning. Remember, they're playing for a place in the last 16, and the winner will play either Jordan Brown or Yuan Sijun.
The 3rd frame. Gary Wilson to break.
Of course, we did see Stan Moody at the English Open take Luca Brissell, the world champion, to a decider, which he could have won, but just came up short on the colours. I think the fact he beat Zhou Yulong, you know, people in the sport take notice of certain results, and obviously Zhou Yulong was runner-up here last year, so that victory in Sheffield in the qualifying, Zhou Yulong had a 1-4-4 in that match, so he played well himself. People would have seen that. And then, of course, to beat Rod Lawler with all his experience as well, that was also a terrific win here at the venue.
Not very close to that. He was extremely thin. He never quite cut it thin enough, and of course here's Gary Wilson with a chance. So he's going to have to show his class, which he has much of. He's a terrific player, Gary Wilson. Really like his game. He's fast and attacking. But he's under pressure here of a different kind.
Yeah, he's in, so really now will be determined to make something happen. He's had a couple of centuries in the tournament already. At the Scottish Open, of course, he'll be defending champion. He's actually drawn his good pal, Elliot Slessor, who he played at the Crucible as well last season. So that'll be the first round for him in Edinburgh in December. Hasn't pulled up too many trees this season. You might remember in Shanghai, he thought the match with Fang Zhengyi was best of 9. He tried to concede at 5-2. It was actually best of 11.
I have to say, I haven't got a lot of sympathy for anyone doing that. You should know what you're playing best of. It was a bit of a blunder. Yeah, it's a terrific shot. Very fast cue back and through the ball there. But he's got awkward cueing, unfortunately for him.
22.
Strange thing about that, I have seen of players a few times, not knowing exactly how many frames, just a few. It's always been the player that's behind who's wanted to shake hands. He's not the person who's winning the match, who thinks he's won and he's got more frames to win. Read what you're willing to that.
Well, he knows this is best of 7, and therefore he knows this frame
30.
is important, really. If he goes 3-0 down, obviously it's a big struggle.
31.
Oh, we're going to see a terrific game of snooker, I'm sure. Playing half an hour. It's all been Stan Moody. But Wilson with something of a backlash here. That's quite well played from there.
38. $39.
I think there's a red at the bottom of the bunch which would go to the left corner from the right side. I'm not sure how he gets there. From the blue, I don't think he's on to get to the right of the table. Might be able to do it from the green, swinging the cue ball around the angles, but of course the pot's got to be taken seriously as well. Well, he's had a bit of a larrup at that one.
Gary Wilson, 39.
The in-off was on, it was on, but I suppose he had to play it in that way. He could have perhaps played it with a little bit of backspin and widened the angle, but even then, it made the shot more difficult to pot. That's really good. It's a shot he plays particularly well, that one. Almost a drag shot in behind the black. Very nicely done. Made it look simple, but it wasn't. Most players might play that to finish up the table, but he wanted to be on the black, and he is. Oh, a great opportunity to get a frame back here at the second scoring visit.
17.
Yeah, the in-off from Moody may be a big moment now in this match because Gary Wilson missed that red prior to it by quite a distance. But the in-off gave him this chance to get back in. He needs this red, and it should be 2-1.
24. 25.
Worth remembering, he had some big wins along the way in Edinburgh last year. Ken Doherty, Hussein Vafai, of course Ronnie O'Sullivan, Kyron Wilson, Tetchara Nu in the final, he beat Joe O'Connor.
Well, these Home Nations events are very difficult to win. They're fairly short matches. You've got to win 7 of them. And sometimes, you know, player will come up against a top player and beat them, and then end up playing on a different table on the outside. Bit of an anticlimax after he beat O'Sullivan, perhaps. To have to sort of repeat the dose somewhere else, less in the spotlight. But that's what you have to do to win.
Well, in fact, Andres Petrov is having that experience. He beat Mark Allen. He's on table 3 right now. But here on table 1, Gary Wilson has surely done enough to win this frame and get himself on the scoreboard. Still a few errors in there, but he got the second chance in that frame. He's taken it, so Stan Moody's lead is reduced to 2-1. 1 to Stan Moody against Gary Wilson, playing for a place in the last 16 of the Northern Ireland Snooker Open in Belfast.
Stan Moody to break.
In the end, that in-off did cost Moody. It gave Wilson the second chance in the frame to get on the scoreboard. It's best of 7, first of 4. Tonight, Stan Moody's mentor, Sean Murphy, will be back against Sean O'Sullivan, and also Jack Lazowski takes on Matt Selt on the main table.
Well, it's quite straight. It just appears that the red will pass the other one. It's quite tight. I mean, he hasn't got to play it. He can play from the left side of the bunch for safety. And right down the line of this. Didn't hit it badly, just off line. I think it did go. It was fairly adjacent to the red though, on the way through.
One.
Black available to the right corner if you can get on it. If you can get on it, you might be able to shift the reds fairly close to the black as well. Short-term plan, I'm not sure what it is, which red he's going to try and play on next. Perhaps the red to the right of the black through the gap from the left side. It's got to be fairly precise position if he is going to play that shot. Fairly interesting positional shot that he's played. Certainly one that is a key red that opens things up.
12.
Just tickle into the bunch of reds here. Need to hit the right side of that red that he went into. I think he'd been on a choice of reds that were out in open play. This way,
19.
He may have one to the left middle, but it's difficult. That's a brilliant shot. I know the cue ball's in the side cushion. It's a very awkward shot played. So is this?
Gary Wilson.
Directing traffic.
20.
Don't know if he was trying to suggest that it rolled off or what, but you're going to miss that on the thick side. Well, he was behind the line of it, but it seems that some shots only ever miss when they roll off these days.
One.
Come with the players. It was tough. He plotted a good red the time before. Anyway, could be a key shot that he's missed there.
Yeah, he played the positive shot Moody to get reds into play. Just finished a little close to the black. He always felt he would be on the black, so it was a good chance to develop reds. Worked out though.
No, he was heading into what looked a very promising area of the table, but nothing seems to have come of it.
He's desperately looking for something that might pop, but doesn't seem to be anything on.
Stun Moody.
Speculative double, but he thought it was probably worth the risk.
It's a 1-1, by the way, between Chris Wakelin and Martin O'Donnell on table 2. As Wilson looks to get in behind the black. Good effort. And as I say, Andres Petrov, he beat Mark Allen the other night, and now he's out on table 3, and he's actually 3-1 down to Sing Jihao for China. So much danger here where the Reds have fanned out across the table. But if one goes in the pocket, then that's safe.
Great pot. He's not on the black, but he can leave him in a pretty nasty snooker here.
Start Moody. 1.
Well, superb pot. A lot of the time these won't go in because you're playing the cue ball back for safety, but it did this time.
Well, it's a big shot coming up now for Moody with a chance, if he can knock this red in, to get going again. But if he misses, of course, he could be leaving the lot on.
I feel this is a pretty big moment in the match. Wilson's started to play better. Moody's not had so many chances since he led 2-0, but now he's got one. I think it's quite a good chance. Now, that hasn't quite worked out. He caught too much of the second red there. Otherwise, the cue ball might have been up behind the blue into the middle. He's got to play a shot. See that shot there? It reminds me of when Ronnie O'Sullivan, at the same sort of age in his first season, he made a real impression,
18.
of course. He was so good at playing those blues to bolt pockets to recover a situation when he did fall out of position. And Moody's pretty good at them as well.
19.
Yeah, of course, what's different for Stan Moody in this era, turning pro, you get to play in these venues pretty much straight away. Of course, in O'Sullivan's day, when he started out, you were basically in a hotel in Blackpool for 3 months, earning your stripes. Doesn't want to come in behind the pink. Ah, is he still on it? No, doesn't seem to be.
24.
Well, I'm afraid, Stan, you're going to have to get used to this. It's a very frustrating game. He was a good blue he potted, but didn't get on the red as he would have liked.
Yeah, so I think he's disappointed to find himself in this predicament, given that, as I said at the time, it was quite a good chance he got himself in with. And these frames, which are not won in a single visit, very
Stand
important
Moody,
for his development.
24.
He needs to win. Sometimes the more experienced players will invariably up in these sort of frames. So advantage Gary Wilson, you would say, after that last shot. Just lay up to the red, I think. That will do, I suppose.
Well, he took his time over it, but he's knocked it in. Gary Wilson had been looking to get him in behind the yellow, I think, initially. He didn't quite manage it. Still a good pot, this. But I think they both sort of know the importance of this frame, you know. Obviously 3-1 or 2-2 in a best of 7, it is a big difference. Yeah, and he's missed that. He's got a bit nervy, I think.
Yeah, I think sometimes frames which are a little bit stilted, you know, you can see players with less experience just losing their concentration. Seems to be the case here.
One. set.
Both players have got it now, where the importance of the frame is one thing, but they're just not quite in the same flow that we've seen. So now Stan Moody with another chance, albeit a couple of reds that follow this one, not easy to get on.
One.
I think he'd like to have been a little closer to the black, so he's straighter on the red, but the worry is he'd end up snookered behind the black. Now this has got to be given a lot of care and attention. Seen a couple of these miss this week.
Yeah, it always looked high. He was slightly hampered.
Moody, set.
So this frame is taking some winning. He's 14 in front. Guess the other red now feels like the key ball, really. Yellow also not great, I suppose.
One.
Certainly a good effort, a lot of screw and
Set.
some left-hand side on the cue ball there to take the cue ball right across the table like that. So both players have got their own little battles to overcome.
Yeah, it's the lowest quality frame of the match, and it's clearly the most important, and maybe the two are going together. Well, didn't expect him to overcut that, but he did, and it's just adding to the feeling of frustration.
One.
Just going to take a good shot to get onto the yellow from here. And even then, an angle on the yellow he'd like, not straight. So hard to make all these things happen on this shot. Quite lucky there. I mean, there's no way in the world he played through the gap between green and brown. It's going to be the snooker now, whether he likes it or not. He wanted to play on the green. All he had left was the snooker, which is not the worst option, of course, but better that your opponent doesn't come back to the table at all if you clear, which was not possible there.
Well, he taps the table to acknowledge he was fortunate. It was a good hit, though, but he just rely on a little bit of luck now and again.
I think this is the problem, isn't it? The good is good with someone like Stan Moody and all young players, but the not so good, the B game, you know, how good a player are the youngsters with little experience, you know, when it comes to frames that go like this. It's a frame that he could really do with winning and getting 2 frames away from his opponent and 1 away from winning the match. I think Gary Wilson's overjoyed about where those balls are finishing. 2 or 3 times you get that feeling, and of course you feel his pain because we've been there when you think maybe once or twice you've not been particularly lucky. So now an opportunity has arisen, but the kind of angle he's got, getting behind the brown, is going to take a lot of force on the shot he's going to play on this green. And pot it and hit it quite hard to get down the table for the brown. If he got the shot right, likely to win the frame, but tough.
Free.
Well, he's given himself a chance, but there's a lot of nerves in the air. We've seen a lot missed, a lot of mistakes in this frame. Nothing guaranteed, certainly.
It's actually noticeable that a lot of the balls he's missed this frame, he's overcut them for some reason.
Free.
All those almost missed in a similar vein. Different shots, but all overcut.
Oh, well, again, Wilson bemoaning his luck there. The brown catching the jaws of one middle to leave a potential pot to the other one. Nothing easy at the moment, though. And it goes, though.
Yeah, it's been an awkward frame, all things considered. Gary Wilson, I think, will feel unlucky from that last shot once again. But it's important that he does get this frame won here and now.
You have to take the running when it comes your way. I think it's fair to say it has done. It's been a scrappy old frame, 28 minutes, but it's been won by Stan Moody, and that's the important thing. He's gone back 2 in front, just 1 away from victory here. 3-1. Murphy amongst them, but a chance for someone. Who's to say how far he could go if he could win this match? Because Gary Wilson is a ranking event winner. He's up against it, though. 3-1 down. And and not really scoring in the match himself. His highest break's only 45. He may feel that will have to improve.
Yes, and the point you made about getting over the line, never more than the match with McGuigan, who is less experienced than Moody even, and he's been around a while, but he's not thought of in quite the same way. Good little player who, I mean, he should really have won last night. Goodness, 39 in front on the yellow, and lost the frame, lost the match on that frame on a rematch. But you know, you don't. Top player back in and things get a little edgy. Lose a frame, you're coming up soon after. It's a good lead, but it's a fairly slender one still in this short format. So open plenty of reds up. First red here is key. If you can knock this in and get on the colour, then he could be away.
Oh, miss.
Don't think that will cheer him up, that last shot.
So, I didn't really think he'd miss it altogether because the cue ball's away, sort of roughly in where it is now. You know, he wanted a very thin contact, but I think if he was put back in again, you'd like to think he'd play the shot a lot better. It's almost a question of having it played from here rather than where it was. If he decides there's no pot on for Moody himself.
Could you bring it back, please?
Well, it's going to go back to its original position. Just check in with the match marker, Nico de Vos, who's operating the screen. Kevin Dabrowski's our referee. He was here, wasn't he, till after 1 o'clock the other night in that Mark Allen Andres Petrov match.
Well, after 1 o'clock's one way of putting it. Not far from 2 o'clock is another way, Dave.
Well, I'd finished work for the day, Neil. That was up to you. There's Nico.
Yeah, it was. I think 1:45 it ended. Which is, you know, you're getting into the small hours, aren't you?
Well, he's going to go down to the screen to have a look himself here. A lot of people have made the point if the referee had some sort of tablet they can actually have in their hand, it would be a lot easier than going to where he is now, staring at it, because he's not at the table, is he?
No, well, an example of that would be to say that we have a Discovery Plus on our iPads, you know, and we can see where the balls are, so why couldn't the official use that same information? It's like he's the only one that doesn't know, he or she. We can literally scroll back a few seconds and see where these balls were on our own personal devices. I haven't always got that view, I admit.
Yeah, we go by your judgment, so yeah, it's done, yeah.
Oh, the judgment is not quite where the balls were, basically. And we could see that.
No, I mean, you know, there must be a more up-to-date way of doing it. I don't think anyone disagrees with that.
That's true, but people have been saying it for many years as well. It's not as if it's a problem that's just come up. You know, for years people have been saying it's not quite the best way, but not a great deal has changed, has it? Let's be honest.
1.
Yeah, again, you'd have loved that cue ball. Well, either to hold up or I guess run on. Maybe you could have taken the brown to the middle, but it just sort of finished betwixt and between. So it's a time for patience for Gary Wilson, this. He certainly will still feel he's got a good chance of winning because he's aware of the fact that it's such a massive match. It would be Sam Moody's biggest ever win to reach a last 16 of a ranking event. And I'm sure what happened last night as well, he'll be aware of the way that turned in I guess, a similar scenario. Danger here for Moody. These reds are all in the open.
Yeah, and again, it's that old shot, isn't it? I always mention it, looking away from the balls you're trying to hit, coming the long way round. It's hard to be really accurate on these shots. And that's the problem, you know. He's played it quite well, but he's gone round the back of the red and left a good chance for Gary Wilson. I know the black is safe, but the balls are nicely scattered around the reds.
One. So. Eight.
As I say, he's not made a half century yet, but maybe this would be the perfect time to remedy that and just get going again. It was very scrappy, very stop-start, that last frame. Not the sort of frame anyone enjoys, but obviously if you win it, you get past that. Wilson has made 4 maximums in tournament plays. A heavy hitter when he gets going.
Well, he is. He's a brilliant player, actually. You know, when he won that Scottish Open, part of last season's Home Nations, and he'll be defending it, of course, pretty soon. But when he won that, it was almost not really a shock that he won. For some, it was a shock. It had taken him quite so long to win. A very good player. I think when he's good, he's very, very dangerous.
15.
Yeah, the sort of vagaries of the ranking system haven't helped him. The 2-year system. He got to the British Open final 2 years ago. Those points came off. So it looked like winning the tournament, he would sort of bet himself into the 16. But he's actually slipped back to 18.
21.
But points can go back on, and as I said earlier, there's a big opportunity for someone this week in this tournament, with quite a few established winners already out or not here in the first place.
$27.
Oh, he'll be fuming about that. He will be fuming. He was thinking a lot about the cannon that would have brought the pink into play, which he may have got, but once the red doesn't drop, it has no consequence. Just overcut it slightly. So this is an opportunity get a match of some significance won for Stan Moody. Not going to be easy with the black safe, but there are plenty of other available colours, and reds are still pretty good. It's a real chance. He started the match so well, he's now got to finish it accordingly.
One man who's done that is Sing Jihao, is another new pro from China. First season, he's beaten Andres Petrov, who was the victor, of course, over Mark Allen the other night, 4-1. So some new faces. Of course, Aaron Hill's already in the last 16. Some new young faces making their move in this tournament.
Food 14.
It's not a bad red to play on this one, because it does make the reds just below the one he's going to pot a little more accessible. He's overscrewed there. I think he played on the pink, but he's got hold of it a little bit. Now this is where, as I say, he's got to make positive decisions. Been doing really well so far with that in this match. So the next shot's big. It's a slight recovery shot required 26. Here. Obviously the brown was not meant to be crashed into on the way through there. So this next shot is a real test of his cueing. That's fabulous. That's fabulous ball striking. And it's just so nice to see that cue, the way he brings it back and just flowingly takes it through the ball. But there's more to do yet. There's a lot to work with his technique and his obvious skill. Now he's got to decide, can he bring the red out by the black here, because then this becomes a great chance if he can execute that shot. He's got to make sure the red is completely cleared from the black and he is behind the black. Wants to look at all the options, but this next shot is key. Well, after all the looking and the measurements and looking at the various shots, he made the cardinal mistake. The cannon was played perfectly, but with divided concentration, he forgot to pot the ball in the first place.
Yeah, he couldn't have played the cannon any better. He was nicely on the black, as you say, but now Gary Wilson gets the chance to capitalise.
Well, how big a moment that is in the context of this match, we might find out in a while. Shades of that McGuigan defeat in the end last night to McGill.
No. Sixteen. 17. 24. 25.
Still got some more work to do. Don't know if he can just roll this in and land on the red. He's probably going to have to play it gently to do that. Yeah. So now,
30.
need of 21 red, colour red. See if he does take the pink here, that'll be enough, but he still could do with. Getting on the yellow and just getting this frame one quickly. So that might be a big moment in this match. Stan Moody missing the chance, playing a cannon. Took his eye off the pot, I'm sure he did, because he looked surprised when the red stayed out. All the rest of the shot worked well, but it actually worked well for Gary Wilson.
Yeah, and he's looked very calm taking these. That's Gary Wilson.
42. Gary Wilson. 42.
Well, Moody is coming back to the table, but 33 behind with 22 on. Very tough to turn this frame round. Yeah, especially now he's potted the brown. 29 in it with 18 on, so there's 3 snookers needed on the blue.
Stan Moody. 4.
Two on the pink, but it's a tall order however you look at it.
Yeah, 2 snookers on the pinks. Incredibly rare thing to happen because of the obvious situation that your opponent, if not snookered, is always going to roll the pink in or over the pocket. So to get 2 snookers takes some doing. Sure what that was all about, but I think we're ready to start the next frame. Well, he may have fluked to the snooker, but it's not going to make a lot of difference, I suspect. Interesting match, isn't it, the way it's brewing up now?
Yeah, he'd be disappointed at what happened though, because he played the positive shot, he played it well, just didn't get the pot. That was obviously always the most important part of that shot. Yeah, there never seemed to be any prospect of Moody getting any snookers there. So Gary Wilson still in this match, and it's on a bit of a knife edge. 1 in it. Moody now leads 3-2.
Well, he hit that pretty well, but not with any success, and the nudge on the red has pushed it on, so an early in for Wilson.
1.
So this last moment in the last frame could be a big turning point. He's just trying to play the cannon to finish on the black, which he's done, but he's not potted the red. And frustration and disappointment was clear to see, and of course that did cost him the frame.
Yeah, I think just watching that again, I mean, we often say as commentators, oh, he thought more about the position than the pot. You could actually see it in his eyes there, because he looked across at the cannon and then looked back at the pot after he'd played the shot. So you knew that he really was thinking about the secondary part of the shot, and not clearly the most important, which was just knocking in the red. Easy done. The snooker players have all done it.
Just to say, Chris Wakelin 3-1 up to Martin O'Donnell.
15.
And Chris Wakelin, if someone wins this, is already in the Champion of Champions, and Gary Wilson would be one of them. Judd Trump, another. Chris Wakelin will be in that tournament. He's next on the list. So obviously, if he won it himself, that would solve all the problems. But that's just as the background as well. Jimmy White confirmed as World Seniors champion in that tournament in Bolton next month. Yeah, they just didn't quite open for him, did they, as he was hoping?
23.
He knew straight away.
Gary Wilson.
It was not
20.
there. Very dangerous, isn't it, at that sort of range? Another terrific cueing shot. And he stopped that cue ball from dragging itself into bulk.
Well, had Wilson developed the reds from the black, you know, we could be heading into a decider, but terrific long red from Moody. He's got him in again.
He's looking at the yellow for some reason, but you know, he's obviously got to play this blue, and he's got to take it around a couple of cushions for the reds. He could have gone into them, but I understand why he didn't. Everything is looking like the keyboard's got to go left side of the table off that shape of the bunch. So for now, he takes what's there. At some point, of course, he will have to get them open. It's well played once again, but as you can see, despite the red coming out into open play on the left, this is quite a thin pot, and he's hampered by those 5 reds in the bunch of reds a little. Maybe the pink, that's not helping him either. So if he does play that thin red to left corner, it is becoming more missable every time you look at it. The other thing about it, the cue ball is coming back towards the reds a little bit if he hits it thin enough to pot it. Didn't really know where anything was going to finish. At least the ball went in.
17.
That's a big call to play the black. Might be that he's got to accept the break has ended somewhat prematurely, but if it ends with a good safety shot, it's not so bad.
Stan Moody, 17.
Well, he could play the cross double right into the right middle if he wants to here. Yeah, he's playing it. Yeah, not getting it though. Needs some protection, and the stamp of the cue suggests he knows that he's left the red.
Yeah, so this is a serious chance now for Stan Moody. Big moments for him. First season on tour, trying to reach the last 16 of a world ranking event against a top quality player, a ranking event winner himself last season. In his hands.
1.
That's a beautiful shot.
5.
Beautiful shot. He may not have played entirely on that red, but again, he's playing into a zone where you've got a few options going for you. Again, a little bit of indecision, which does creep into Stan Moody's game on important shots when the pressure's on. I think it takes away his natural rhythm a little bit when he does change his mind multiple times on shots, and his pressure. And it's a very tough game out there. It's not a criticism. It's just an observation of how he's progressing, which is very nicely. But now he's left with this difficult shot. Terrific shot, that one. That has put him right back on track. He's certainly got a red to the middle.
30.
It appears he has.
Well, that would have been a great shot in frame 1. Never mind where we are now, trying to win the match.
cue ball again is just possibly going into other reds here. That's even better than the last shot. That's fantastic. Now he's on track. Delightful shot, that last one. Totally played this little nick on the reds.
Yeah, brilliant. So now, just try not to look for too many problems, because you will find them if you look long enough. This is a great chance to win.
Yeah, and I think he kind of just changed his
21.
mind a little there. He was going nicely. He was going to play it, then he sort of stalled a little bit. Now he's got a more difficult shot than perhaps you would have thought he'd be left with. So another retrieval of the situation.
22.
Only 16 in front. It feels like it a little bit more, but maybe a little cannon here. Yeah, that's played pretty well. I mean, he's not perfectly on a red, but he's on the one thin snick back to the right corner.
29.
He's going to have to play the one on the right, I'm sure he is. There's no other option here.
Moody.
But
29.
it's not in. It's a very good chance. He got a couple of really good pots to recover, but just, again, left himself under a bit of pressure on that one. Gary Wilson must have felt it could well have been over, but there's only actually 23 in it. Everything's possible here as well. But it's not in.
Now, has he been lucky this time? He's not really had, perhaps, much of a run in this match. I don't think that's the reason he's losing. He's been outplayed for the most part. But he just got a little fortunate not to leave that red to the top right pocket. This one is less straightforward.
Well, this time it does look like a golden chance with the lead he's already got. I'm sure his family watching on are chewing every conceivable fingernail that they have left. It was a family holiday, wasn't it, when he was very young? He just discovered a pool table. It was raining. He had to go on that, and then something about it he enjoyed and stepped up to snooker. And look at him now. All sports need new faces, new stars, and they do always come through. Sometimes it takes a while, but we've seen Aaron Hill, she can see how, two youngsters already reached the last 16, and Stan Moody is a few balls away from joining them.
So.
In fact, he needs the blue and one more red. What huge moments for the 17-year-old.
Maybe the run up the table is the more secure option, given that it is match ball, barring snookers. Very well done. I mean, look, should he go on and complete this, it's a shock win, but it's not really that big a surprise in other ways, because everyone knows what a talent Stan Moody is. It's a result you could possibly see coming, but also it's a very good result for him if he gets there, because he's playing a top player.
17.
So it's snooker's required. Gary Wilson is probably going to have to get out of his chair and play a few snookers rather than shake hands if the red went in.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't looking happy there, but surely it'd be worse if he finished on the red here. At least he's going to have half a chance coming back to the table. 40 in front, 35 on.
Stan Moody, 17.
And it's over, and the ascent of Stan continues here in Belfast. 17-year-old Stan Moody has put himself into the last 16 of the Northern Ireland Open in his debut season. What a win that is over the Scottish Open champion, Gary Wilson. The question now, how far can he go this week? It's very difficult coming from the junior ranks to the pro ranks. It's like learning to swim being thrown in the deep end. So that's a great win for him. OK, got a bit nervous at the end, but he pots a good ball, doesn't he? And, well, the result speaks for itself.